Rocks and Minerals by Marcia K. Miller. What are rocks and minerals? Minerals. A mineral is a natural, non-living solid that has a specific chemical structure. A substance must fit all parts of this definition to be called a mineral. For example, coal is not a mineral because it comes from plants that lived long ago. You may be familiar with more minerals than you think you are. The crust of Earth has more than 4,000 kinds of them, yet only about 24 are common. Gold is a valuable mineral. Copper is a familiar mineral. Did you ever look closely at sand? If so, you probably saw a mineral called quartz. You may have heard of ruby, emerald, and diamond. These rare, beautiful minerals are called gems. Minerals are made up of crystals. A crystal is an arrangement of particles with a pattern that repeats. The shape of a crystal is determined by this repeating pattern. Crystals can be large if they form under just the right conditions. But most crystals are tiny. You would need a microscope to see them. Identifying minerals. Minerals have properties that set them apart. Scientists use some key properties to identify minerals. Scientists rank minerals by hardness. A mineral's hardness tells how difficult it is to scratch its surface. The hardness scale goes from 1, the softest, to 10, the hardest. Diamond has a hardness of 10. In fact, diamond is Earth's hardest known natural substance. Talc is a very soft mineral. It has a hardness of 1. Cleavage is also used to identify minerals. Many minerals tend to split or cleave along flat planes. They split in patterns that scientists can recognize. Other minerals do not split. They break into uneven bits instead. You can also tell a mineral by the shape of its crystals. For example, quartz crystals look like hexagons. You can use color to identify minerals, but sometimes different samples of the same mineral can have different colors. For example, pure corundum has no color, but when its crystals have some chromium in them, the corundum forms a ruby, which is a red gem. A mineral streak shows its true color. The streak is the mark made when you rub it against a tile. Luster is how a mineral looks in reflected light. A mineral may look like metal, greasy, or even waxy. Some minerals have special properties. Fluorescent minerals show colors under ultraviolet light. A few minerals, such as magnetite, are magnetic. Rocks. Most minerals are not found in their pure form. They're usually mixed into rocks. A rock is a solid natural material made up of one or more minerals. Sedimentary rock is made up of bits of rocks and minerals. It forms in layers. The oldest rock is at the bottom. Newer layers sit on top of the older ones. Sedimentary rock is a kind of history book. Past events can be found in each of its layers. Some evidence is the remains of dead animals or plants. Such remains, known as fossils, appear only in sedimentary rock. Limestone is a sedimentary rock. It is made up of the shells of tiny sea animals. It also comes from materials that settle out of seawater. Igneous rock forms when molten rock from inside Earth cools and hardens. Some igneous rocks form below Earth's surface. They appear only after the rocks above them wear away. Other igneous rocks form when lava cools on Earth's surface. Metamorphic rock forms when pressure, heat, or chemical reactions change one type of rock into another. Metamorphic rock can be made from sedimentary rock or from igneous rock. Marble is a metamorphic rock often used for buildings and sculpture. Marble is formed from limestone, a sedimentary rock. Rocks are always changing in a pattern called the rock cycle. Over time, they break down. The minerals in them get recycled to form new rocks. These processes can take millions of years. The rock cycle does not always follow the same pattern. Any type of rock can change into any other type in any order. For example, igneous rocks may erode, and their particles may form sedimentary rocks. Igneous rocks may also be buried and crushed to form metamorphic rocks. Or they can sink deep into Earth and melt to form new igneous rocks. Study the diagram of the rock cycle to see all the ways that rocks can form and change. Clues to the past. Every rock tells a story. Rocks offer clues to the past. Suppose you find a rock that has tiny shells in it. This means that the area where the rock was formed was once an ancient sea. Scientists can learn much about Earth's history by studying rocks. Sedimentary rocks hold a lot of information. Scientists know that the deepest layers are the oldest. They use this fact to compare the age of each layer and the materials in it. This method allows scientists to put past events in time order, but it does not show how long ago each event took place. The Grand Canyon is one place that shows Earth's history very clearly. The canyon formed 5 million years ago when the Colorado River cut through many layers of sedimentary rock. Because so many layers of rock are exposed, today visitors to the Grand Canyon can see more years of rock history than anywhere else on Earth. Each layer holds clues about events that took place long ago. Fossils. Fossils are made when animal or plant remains are covered in mud. Most fossils are formed from hard parts, such as bones, shells, or wood. These parts are slow to rot away. When fossils form underwater, minerals may replace the animal's shell or bones. You may also see fossils of burrows and footprints. Many fossils were made from organisms that no longer exist. Scientists have learned how long ago these organisms lived. Finding these fossils in a rock can help scientists figure out the age of the rock. For example, trilobites were ocean animals that lived about 500 million years ago. When scientists find a trilobite fossil, they know that the rock around it is from that period of time. Space rocks. Some rocks fall from space and land on Earth. They can make a giant hole called a crater. Barringer Meteor Crater is a huge bowl-like pit in the Arizona desert. It is almost 1.6 kilometers wide and about 180 meters deep. The crater formed when a giant rock hit Earth between 20,000 and 50,000 years ago. Why is soil important to living things? Forming soil. Soil is made up of weathered rock, air, water, and the remains of living things. Almost all land organisms need soil to live. Plants get water and minerals from soil. Animals need plants for food. Insects, small animals, fungi, and bacteria live in the soil. You have read about the rock cycle. Rocks are also part of the process that forms soil. New soil begins when rock starts to break down. This process, called weathering, can be caused by physical changes such as frost, drought, or high heat. Rainwater and the chemicals it carries can also break down rock. Rock bits get smaller and smaller as they weather. Air and water fill the space between the bits of rock. These tiny bits of rock, along with the air and water, are the non-living parts that make up soil. First, small bits of rock collect on the surface. Tiny plants start to grow. They break down the rock some more. This is the beginning of soil. More soil forms. Larger plants appear. Layers form. Humus is the dark brown soil. Mature soil is home to many living things. It is rich in organic matter and holds many plant roots. Over time, bacteria, fungi, and plants grow in the particles. When these organisms die, they rot. Organic matter is any substance that is made of living things or the remains of living things. Humus forms from rotted plant and animal remains. Humus has important nutrients that plants need. Soil forms in 3 layers. The first layer is the topsoil. Topsoil is a mixture of small bits of rock, humus, and other organic matter. Most of the living things in soil are found in the topsoil. Loose organic matter, such as dead leaves and twigs, covers the topsoil. Rainwater sinks into the topsoil and washes minerals into the second layer. The second layer is the subsoil. Subsoil has less organic matter than topsoil. This causes subsoil to have a lighter color. Minerals carried away from the topsoil build up in the subsoil. The third and lowest layer is called parent rock. This layer has very little organic matter. Kinds of soils. Did you ever dig a hole in the ground? If so, you know that soil can look and feel different. Most soils are a mix of clay, silt, and sand. Clay soils are fine-grained. Clay soils hold water very well, but clay soils can get waterlogged in heavy rains. Silt soils have medium-sized grains. They drain fairly well. Sandy soils are large-grained. They hold water poorly. They have little organic matter. Loam is a type of soil that mixes clay, silt, and sand in nearly equal parts. This is the best kind of soil for plants. Factors that affect soil. Climate is a key factor that affects the soil in an area. Weathering happens faster where there are heavy rains and high temperatures. It rains a lot in tropical climates. Heavy rains wash minerals from the topsoil into the subsoil. So, tropical topsoil is thin. Not much grows in it. On the other hand, desert areas get little rain. Weathering is slow in the desert. The rain that does fall dries quickly. Minerals in rainwater collect on the soil. The type of soil that forms also depends on the parent rock below it. The minerals in the rock can affect how it weathers. They also affect its makeup. For example, reddish soils come from rocks that are rich in iron. Soil color depends on the organic matter it contains. Soils with more organic matter are darker. Soils from the forest of the eastern United States have lots of dark brown humus. Tropical soils have little humus, so they are much lighter in color. Landforms also affect the soil on them. Mountains usually have thin layers of topsoil. This is because much of the soil has worn away from their slopes. Flatland usually has a thick layer of topsoil. Earthworms help the soil. They mix the soil as they move through it. They also break down organic matter.